Today is 22nd November 2021. It is the birth anniversary of a great literary artist, George Eliot. It is her 202nd birth anniversary. George Eliot, which is actually the pen name of Mary Ann Evans, was a great Victorian novelist, poet, translator, and journalist. Like Charles Dickens and Thomas Hardy, she emerged from provincial England, and most of her works are set there. Now, the male name, like George Eliot, the name George Eliot seems like a male name. And this male name was created partly to conceal the gender of the author and partly to disguise her irregular social position, living as an unmarried woman with a married man. There are many intriguing, facts which are related to the life of George Eliot. Her physical appearance was often the topic of conversation. Eliot's appearance was a source of, avid discussions during her lifetime. And her looks, continue to fascinate readers today. Eliot herself, joked about her, ugliness in letters to her friends. And the novelist, Henry James once described her in a letter to his, father that she is magnificently ugly, deliciously hideous. He went on to say that the horse-faced writer had a vast pendulous nose, a low forehead, and bad teeth, among other physical flaws. It was a stereotype in those times for women to publish their work under their own names. Also, another stereotype in Victorian era was that women writers used to base their writings on light-hearted romance. However, Mary Ann Evans wanted to break away from the stereotypes, and hence she had a pen name, George Eliot, and her writings were based on other subjects. It is said that another reason she chose to write under her pen name was to keep away her controversial relationship with the married George Henry Lewes. Some of the widely acclaimed novels written by George Eliot are Adam Bede, The Mill and the Floss, Silas Marner, Romola, Middlemarch, and Daniel Deronda. I think all of you know that, out of these novels, The Mill and the Floss and Middlemarch are prescribed in most of the universities at different levels. Most of her works, are based on the theme of realism and psychology. When you read her novels, you'll find out what we call psychological realism. Now, in the writings of, George Eliot, when we read the different novels, we find that out of the many novels which she wrote, Middlemarch, which was written around 1871, is not only considered to be one of her best novels, but also one of the greatest novels in English language. And, since this is her 202nd birth anniversary this year, we wish the decorated author's soul rest in peace. That writer who wielded a considerable influence on 19th and 20th century writer. A writer who, by her inspirational, lines, inspirational and thought-provoking lines, used to inspire the people, and even today she is inspiring. On today's occasion, I would like to share some of the important lines said by George Eliot in her different, works. In Middlemarch, she said, I quote, "What loneliness is more lonely than distrust." Next, it is never too late to be what you might have been. Next, what do we live for if it is not to make life less difficult for each other? Next, I like not only to be loved but also to be told that I am loved. Next, it will never rain roses. It will never rain roses. When we want to have more roses, we must plant more roses. It is always fatal to have music or poetry interrupted. Next, life seems to go on without effort when I am filled with music. Next, what? Next, our deeds determine us as much as we determine our deeds. Next, this was actually a line in Adam Beat. Next, I am not imposed upon by fine words, I can see what actions mean. Next, it is surely better to pardon too much than to condemn too much. All these are inspirational and thought-provoking lines. So once again on today's occasion, I pay my humble tribute and remember her contributions to the field of literature.